How much money do you really need to start a candle business? If you're thinking about starting a candle business or you're in the early stages, then this is the video you need. I'll go over everything I've used that's been a success and everything that's been, well, a bit rubbish. Learn from my mistakes. Oh dear. In this video, we're going to go over costing, suppliers, and the cheapest, most effective way to get going in your candle making journey. This is what I would do differently with the knowledge I've gained now. So yeah, that phrase, hindsight is a wonderful thing. These views are subjective and merely offer a guiding light in the ever-confusing world of candle making. You see what I did there? Yeah, you did. Anyway, less of that. Let's crack on with the video. First up, we need equipment. I recommend just spending a little bit of money and time and effort and get some decent stuff first. In the beginning, I tried to blag my way through most of it by being a cheapskate. Save yourself a bit of time and pain and just get these things. Don't mess around like I did. You want to get a wax melter? I'd spend £40 on a cheap soup kettle. 10 litres is plenty of room and you can get started pretty well with a big container like that. So I've got a big soup kettle just over there. I'll show you that in a second. In the beginning, I was using double boilers, which lacked the volume and sort of the speed. I also used a slow cooker, which is horrendously slow. And I even tried a skillet that heated up really quickly, but it just lacked volume. I eventually bit the bullet and got a couple of wax melters. So I've got the big soup kettle that I mentioned already that I can do 10 litres of wax in. And I've got a little Presto pot I got from Amazon. And I think that's about 5 litres as well. It heats up really quickly and it's great for just doing small batches just quickly and effectively. And it's got a little handy spout. So with those two things, they become my workhorse and I can make 35, 40 candles in one go. Next, we need some scales. We weigh everything in candle making. Don't use volume like I did in the beginning. Waxes and fragrance oils, they all have varying weights due to different densities. Amazon is a great place to get some decent cheap scales. A thermometer is vital. We need to get accurate readings. We want to get things up to certain temperatures. We need to add oils at other temperatures and we need to pour at the correct temperature as well. So doing it properly, get a temperature like thermometer. It will save you no end of time, no end of headaches. And I'd just get something pretty cheap. You can get these ones that I'll point to on a screen for about £5. You're also going to need some jugs, wick centering tools, and something to like stir your candle wax with. The jugs, I just use plastic ones. I got a load of them from B&M for like £2 each. Wick centering tools you can buy on Amazon quite cheaply, or I got some custom made ones for the size of my sort of diameter. So just get a few bits, and to stir your candles, I'll just use a stick. What else are we going to need? We're going to need things to stick your wicks down. You can use Wickams or you can use like a hot glue gun. I tend to just use gasket silicone. Yes, you heard me. Gasket silicone. It's highly heat resistant, really sticky. I found sometimes with the Wickams, when the jars got too hot, they might move around, causing potential fire hazards. So with gasket silicone, it is really quick and easy. So I'll show you how I do that quickly. It's just, something I saw Stanley Handcrafted do, and I've just stolen it and gone with it, and it has made my life pretty good. With that sorted, we're going to need some candle supplies next. Wax, wicks, jars, and fragrance oil. To be honest, in the beginning, I'd just go cheap and cheerful. You're going to make some mistakes, and quite frankly, some pretty crap candles. I most certainly did, and I still do now. What I'd suggest you get in the beginning is just some basic 30 centilitre candle jars, some TCR wicks 27/16, and some container wax. We need to be very specific on this one as we are making container candles. It has to be container wax. The mistake I made in the beginning was trying to use pillar wax to make container candles and expecting it to work. I had no idea what I was doing, so yeah, learn from my mistake once again. So a good beginner's choice of soy wax is C3. And I test it with a few different fragrance oils as they can work differently. Not all fragrance oils are made equally, so it is worth playing around. Try some different suppliers, try some different ones and just see how they work for you. I've had a quick Google and one of the first sort of websites that come up is Scent Soaps and Candles, which has got some pretty wicked reviews, so I'd just go there. Get your candle jars, get your wicks, get a bit of fragrance oil, get it all in one place, save a bit of money on shipping, and then just have a practice around. So that's probably going to set us back a couple £100, but I'll go through all of the prices shortly. All right, if you're planning on selling your candles, we're going to need some labels. We're going to want to get something that makes our candles stand out. What I did in the beginning, in what I still do now, is buy my labels on eBay in bulk. I can get about 70 transparent labels for £15, which works out 21p a label. And that's pretty cheap cheap. We're also going to need some CLP labels on the bottom for legal reasons, and I also get those on eBay, and they're about 10p a label. You can do it yourself, but I think it's good to start outsourcing in the beginning. You don't want to be overwhelmed and try and do everything yourself. And finally, in order to sell our whole product, we're going to need some boxes and some tissue paper to package it and to make it just look nice. I buy some Mug Smash boxes, super cheap and very protective. Each box costs about 40p. And in the beginning, I bought some tissue paper just to wrap up the candles, put a sticker on it. And I think you can buy about 100 sheets on eBay for maybe £10 or something. So yeah, it's pretty cheap and a pretty quick, cost-effective way of making your candles look nice and protecting them and just doing it without overthinking it. But let's break it all down and I'll go through the costs of everything I've just talked about. The wax melter, we've got two options, a soup kettle or a Presto pot, or both. Each one is £70. A thermometer, roughly about £10. Some scales, £10 again. Wick centering tools, you can get 20 of those for about £10. A selection of jugs, £10. Some gasket silicone, another £10. And then the candle supplies. Soy wax, we're going to get 5 kilos of soy wax, and that's going to cost us £30. 50 TCR wicks is going to be £3.60. Fragrance oil, £51. Jars, £27. And then next we've got the labels. The front jar label is going to be £15 for 70. CLP labels, £2. And finally packaging, we're going to get the tissue paper for £10 and boxes for £35, which brings us to a grand total of £303. Now this is a very low conservative starting point with us only making one candle about 20 times, but it gives you guys a chance just to see how I can break down the costs and how I look at it. It's very easy to get overwhelmed, so we need to look at it from a logical standpoint and cost it. There's no point making a candle and you costing it and it just not making you any money. So you need to do it properly in the beginning, spend a bit of time doing this. And there are some things that I already had that I'd recommend. A printer for printing off your postage labels, and you could even use it to do some labels. There's a few bits I won't get into in this video, like candle insurance, but it's important to get candle insurance. Getting a website like Shopify, and just a few other bits that I did do, which I've not talked about in here. With this video in mind, what I wanted to do was just make a basic video with some basic costing, so you can just work out where to go with a candle in terms of where to get your supplies, how to get them cheaply, and how to make a couple of candles, and just work out your costings. A lot of things are going to overlap, so you can have labels that are going to last a lot longer. You can have wax that you can use for other candles, and it's just a starting point. The more you invest in it and the more things start going, the easier it becomes. It's just very difficult in the beginning. It's almost like a bell curve, the way the difficulty starts. So it's sort of kind of down here, and it's hard, and it slowly gets a bit easier and a bit easier as you gain more knowledge, you gain more skills, and you get better equipment, and you just get better at the whole process. So this was just a starting point to give people a rough idea how much it costs to maybe get one candle sent off the ground. So hopefully you've enjoyed the video, you found it useful, and if you have, give it a like, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.